What is going on, beautiful people, and welcome back to another MD Fish Tanks build video. We've been busy, we've done quite a few tanks, but there's so many more to do in this new studio. So far we've done this 4 foot here, we've also done this 4 foot here. Those ones behind up here are just sort of storage tanks, so they're not really for scaping or anything like that. Mega healthy in that, but yeah, not for scaping. These tanks were brought down from the other studio. We set up Timmy's temporary tank, and there he is, look, just peeking at us. These tanks on this rack here, they were already sort of set up, so I just brought them down. So really, we've got that one, and also this one here, which is the shrimp owl setup that we did recently. So we've done 3, we've basically done 3. This one down here with the shrimp, it's not really a scape, it's just somewhere I just chucked a load of plants in. It looks quite nice though. Anyway, my point is we've got all these empty tanks ready to go. I've been away a little bit, but I'm back now. I'm gonna crack on and do some really good scapes. It's these ones, come with me. These ones all here, I'm gonna start doing a few on. Starting with the closest one. It's got a twin star light, it's got a filter, we're ready to go. And what I want to do in this one is a red scape. I've done it before over here. So this tank here for my Betta fish is actually a very, very red tank. It's got a little bit of floating plants on it at the moment, you can see up there, and that's blocking out quite a little bit of the light. I'm actually gonna get rid of some of those in a minute, that's a good idea. But there's loads of reds in here, it looks so good. You have big wood, lots of red, a little bit of green for detail if you want. I'm not gonna on this one though, but the green worked quite well for this one. So yeah, a little rundown of the tank. This is a twin star light. I don't know what one, does it say anywhere? Okay, it doesn't say, I don't know what one it is, but it's an older model. I've had it for years and years now. We have got some steel lily pipes here. They go around the side and into the cabinet, which I made, by the way. Don't worry, that's absolutely fine. It's been like this for years. Nothing's exploded. The cabinet comes off, it's magnetized, and we've got a filter there, just a really, really cheap one. I think that's an All Pond Solutions ones, or Sun if you're in America. It's kind of like a white label brand, and everyone puts their own thing on it. That's an inline heater that doesn't work, but I can't be bothered to take it out because otherwise I have to get a new hose. Because yeah, remember guys, I heat the room. The whole room here is heated, so I don't have to heat each individual tank. Unless the fish requires it. If I had discus, for instance, I'd have to heat it higher than the rest of the room. But yeah, absolutely fine. No heaters for me, which is brilliant because they look horrible in the tank. A lot of filters nowadays have them built in, if you get the thermo one from Biomaster. So there's ways around it. But our first job though is going to be setting up a substrate system. So this right here is NutriBase from Colombo. I've been using it quite a few tanks. It's working so well at the moment. Goes down first. It's basically just got a load of nutrients in with it. Porous rock, great for beneficial bacteria. And it's got dormant beneficial bacteria as well. So that goes in first. So that is the base layer done, looks spread pretty evenly. And on top of that, I like to put it's a compost, an aquatic compost. That goes on top, that adds even more nutrients. That's the one we want. Aquatic pond soil. Now, you don't have to use this. You can use aqua soil if you want, which will work really well, just as well, to be honest, but don't actually have any at the moment, so I'm gonna use this. It's a cheaper option as well. Not everyone can afford aquasoil, but this stuff is very, very cheap. It's what you'd find in pond baskets with like lilies and plants growing, and it submerges in the water as well. So it's far less chance I find of getting algae problems when I'm using this, as long as it's all capped. So that is pretty even. Next up, we need to cap the whole thing with sand, and that will just lock everything in place. side. So that's not like a pretty layer or anything, that's purely there to cap. It's just some recycled sands that I've put together from previous setups. And on top of that, we can put our decorative stuff, the stuff that we actually want to see. But before I put the pretty layer down, I just want to tuck this back a little bit, just so you can't sort of see it. So I'm doing that and creating a little gap between it. There we go. Trying my best not to scratch the glass, but yeah, might be a little bit. The key is if you keep this bit clean, when you press down, you're not actually scratching at all. And now for the decorative layer, which, to be honest, isn't too different to the one we just had on. Again, this is recycled from another tank build. Try and keep as much as I can, because I know I'm going to be using it again. Okay, there we go. A nice little substrate system ready to go. Nutrients are in. We can start doing some building now with some hardscape. Well, we could do. What I like to do first is actually spray the whole thing down so it's waterlogged, and then when we put our substrate on, we won't get any sinkage like later on. If we did it all now, then filled it all up, it might all move around. So just completely saturate it with water. Okay, substrate system complete. We can now go shopping. And by shopping, I mean go through my shop. This is not really a shop. Some people get confused by that. Funny story, the other day, the postman arrived, knocked on the door, answered and said, I watch all of your stuff, I've got tanks, loads of tanks because of you. I can't wait for you to open your shop. And I was like, well, no. And then he was gone. He probably comes by every day looking to see if the shop is open, but no, we're not a shop, we're a studio. So for this size tank, the big things that are all dotted around that you can see, pretty much off limits because they're going to take up so much space. That one there is doable, but I think I want more sort of thicker, stumpier stuff. We've got like some cool sort of stumps and that down here. They might be quite good. Again, some more detailed pieces in this whole section. See how it goes. I'm just going to get started, get stuff in, see how it looks and adjust as I go. Okay, a simple start. We can add to pieces if we want to, but I'm really liking that. It does look like there's a massive gap in the middle, but remember, I want a negative space for where plants can go into as well, so you can see them all at the back. I like the explosiveness of it. We do need some more details though, all in the foreground, like a scatter gravel or something to grade the finer sand / gravel into the rocks. And we'll probably have a few more rocks in that as well, but for now, I just need to get that look. I don't know what I mean by that look, but hopefully you do. Okay, good. I think that suits really well. It just goes from that colour to that colour to that transition, because obviously we've got a little bit of multicoloured boulders going on there, but I really, really like that look. Now what I do need to do is come around the back and fill this area up now a lot higher, because that is not a lot of planting, you know, media. We need a lot, probably double that, to be honest. I like to do this after I've built the hardscape, just so you know how much you need. You don't want to use too much if you don't need it, because obviously in the areas where the hardscape is, we can't plant, can we, because there's no space. Well, we can plant epiphytes, don't get me wrong, but we can't plant into anything. So now we can build up that layerage right behind it, and we can see how high we actually need to go, because I want to be able to see the plant straight away. So I'm going to build it up to about that height, and then all the plants in the top, the sides, the foreground, it should look so good. So that is the tank, looking fantastic, I think. A really strong start. If you can get that strong start, you're going to do well. The plants will only make it look better. If your hardscape looks great on its own, like you could set that up as a fish tank, then you know it's going to be really good as a planted tank. That's what I often find anyway. This wood though, I'm pretty sure it will float. It might not, because it's quite anchored in there, but it's completely dry. It has been used before, that's why it's got those nice darker tones to it. But I'm going to glue it down. There's no point taking any chances. Nothing worse than when that all lifts up after the work you've done. So yeah, just glue it down. And to do that, I've got tissue here. It's like paper towel, and I've got cyanoacrylate super glue. This is not the gel, it's just the liquid. It goes into the tissue, which absorbs it, and it goes solid on any contact points, and it just sort of covers a wider area than when you're using the gel. The gel's good for certain sort of situations, but in this situation, I'm going for the tissue method. I think we're there, guys. We're at that awesome stage now. We'll be ready for planting. Now I've got to collect the plants up. So one of the main reasons for me deciding to actually do this project was because I've got lots of red plants dotted around in tanks at the moment, and those tanks need trimming. So I don't want to replant them in the same tank because there's so many reds already. So what better thing to do than to set up a tank and just, you know, reuse them, keep them growing. I'll be able to get even more trimmings for more projects later on. So that's how I've got so many established tanks usually, is because I just keep reusing the plants. Once you make the initial investment in like a nice big tank, as long as it's going well, you can just keep taking and harvesting plants from it, and it's like free plants. You need that initial investment though. So here's what we've got at the moment. We've got absolutely tons of reds in the Betta Fish sorority tank that you can see here. Look at them, they're all growing right to the top. There's too many greens in here as well. I do need to do a big trim up on it, and I'm going to do that in a minute as I'm harvesting the reds. We have also got some nice Ludwigias, which will go very red, to be honest, in the goldfish tank. They're currently trying to chew them up, so it'd be a good idea to get them out of there, I think. Over here in this tank, which is the old Red Forest aquarium, the much smaller one, we're going to harvest a ton from here as well. I'm actually loving the crypt in here. It's crypt albida, is it? I've got a couple more pots of that because I want to keep that stuff in there because it looks so good. In Hellboy's tank, we've got an absolute ton of red root floaters. In fact, we've got red root floaters sort of dotted around everywhere. There's even lots here as well. And then down in the shrimp tank as well, look, we've got some more Ludwigias dotted about. So we've got so many to choose from. So we have got an absolute ton of plants out of that lot. Like, look at, there's so many. Probably don't actually need this many. I'm not keeping the greens. This is Limnophila sessiliflora. It grows so fast. I'm just going to bunch it up. That's the kettle you can hear because I'm just having some food. And Kate's here as well, like, doing some cleaning. So now it's time for my absolute favourite part, which is the planting. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing the hardscape, but for me, the tank comes alive when there's plants in it. So let's get that going. I'm just going to do it in like a time lapse, and I'll talk about it afterwards, what plants are where. But they're going to be everywhere, so I don't need to do that. All right, there we go. Look, got some absolutely fantastic boosters there. They're like a purpley greeny hue, which will suit the theme. But over time, especially with the twin star lighting, that's got a lot of sort of pinks or purpley magenta, I guess, it will go even more red, so it'll suit the whole theme as time goes by, new leaves come and that sort of thing. But now we can get onto the stem section. The albida is pretty small. I might take out some from another tank and put it in just to bulk it up a bit. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to get those stems and see how it looks, and we'll go from there. So that's all the planting I want to do for the time being. I like to fill the tank up now so I can fill out the background area, because when there's water in there, I'll know exactly how the stems are sitting then, and if I do it now, it's just going to flop over. I don't know how tall anything is. I just have a bit more control then. Okay, we are full up. It's looking good. You might have noticed I added a couple more rocks. I just felt we needed that one there to continue with that one, if you like, and then a little bit more of a red hue with that one in the foreground. And I think that's kind of nailed it. I really like that. We've got a few plants in already that are looking good, but obviously I've still got all of these on the table here. Now, I always save my plant weights. Whenever I get a plant that's got a weight with it, I always save them and put them in this pot. So what I'm going to do is bunch up a load of them, put them into the plant weights, and then literally all you have to do is just sit them at the back. The roots will just grow out the bottom, find their way into the soil that's all underneath the sand, and you've already got perfect height. You can change it to whatever you want. Good few bunches, maybe 8 bunches or so, will look really good in that back area. Okay, we are looking good. Take a look at that. It's looking perfect, I think. Now I want to get the filter started. So I just need to prime it, plug it in, and then just leave it. And it's a little bit misty, you see. You can see that little slight haze to it. That'll go absolutely perfect in no time. I'll get some AquaClear in there from API, and that'll clear up within an hour. Well, it's been an hour and guess what? We are crystal clear. And to be honest, there is one thing that every single red tank needs, and that is red floating plants. And I think my best bet is going to be to take some from there and some from this one. There's already too many in both these aquariums. So it is now the next day and the tank is looking a little bit cloudy. Now this is to be expected. Basically, all those plants that we put into the tank were covered in beneficial bacteria. Brand new setup, there's no waste in the tank, which means that beneficial bacteria has got no food source. So you get a little bit of die-off. And the way to prevent this is to put fish in the tank. Now that's exactly what we're gonna do now. Need to go to the shop, pick out the fish. I'm not 100% sure what I want yet. I've had a little chat with Matt, but basically we're just gonna go there, have a look, and then pick something out. Oh, hello, Matthew.
No, hello. How surprising to see you here.
Yeah, no, I've been here for like an hour and we've just been yapping away.
Isn't that the standard thing then?
Yeah.
That's normal?
I'm here for fish, obviously. Had a word with you.
Did you have a word with me?
Yesterday.
I've had a word with you.
I've had a word with you.
All right, I'm sorry.
I want the fish. Let's get some fish.
Calm down.
Have you got the fish or not?
Yeah, you got the fish. I want them.
Hey, before we do, I just walked in. This is looking absolutely fantastic. You put these, this is the 8 foot.
Yep.
Which is 8 foot. Matt, lay on the floor.
No, I'm not laying on the floor. I wouldn't get back up.
Matt's 6 foot.
Okay. Is that good enough?
Yes, perfect. It's looking great. The fish are so much bigger than we first put them in. Like, these are double the size. The barbs you're saying down here.
Yeah, the barbs are all grown up. Your crebensis have all grown up and they're all doing really well.
Hiding in there. And the other thing, the jewel cichlids as well, massive.
Yeah, really chunky.
And I love what you've done at the top here. So it's just a plank of wood.
Yep.
Just some plants.
Yeah.
And you have to water them by hand?
Yeah, at the moment.
Yeah,
it was only put on a few days ago, but yeah, it's we'll probably get some auto watering system set up or something.
Because otherwise they're going to die.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll forget about them. It's so hot in here as well.
Anyway, I'm after some white fish.
Yep.
For my red
forest.
Something.
Yeah, that one. Red forest aquarium, white fish.
Something like that.
Snow
yeah.
white,
Yeah.
red forest.
That doesn't really roll off the tongue, so we'll come
No.
up with something better than that. But they'll know what it is by the title.
Let's go have a look.
Say that again.
So, my thoughts,
Yeah.
start from the bottom. We've got some albino Corys,
Yep.
and they're
Okay.
proper white.
Yeah.
Really nice. So I think a little group of them on the bottom will be quite cool.
Yep.
Just buzzing about. I've got a bit of a curveball that I forgot about, that I didn't tell you about. Ignore our broken lighting.
What's that? What's going on?
The lighting's died, and me and Martin need to get under the system and fix it today. So
but it's not a priority at the moment.
It's not a priority because you're here. That's why it's not a priority.
Of course.
I don't know how you're going to feel about these. Gold, but they're more white. Neon Tetras.
Oh, love it.
They're cool, aren't
Love it
they?
straight away.
I
Why
forgot-
are they like that? Is it just a...
So they're bred just without colour. So they're not albino because they haven't got red eyes.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
they're,
yeah.
Yeah, they're essentially like a colourless morph.
Okay.
So you can still get the blue in them. You don't see much of the red, but yeah, a little bit different.
Okay, cool.
So
yeah,
we've got
yeah.
them as a bit of a, we could go with them. And then we have, I don't think there's anything else on here. We've then got,
Oh, this is new.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Newish, no one's seen this yet.
yeah, this is our new plant tray. There was a coral tray.
Yes. It makes sense though.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got plants there, you've got plants there.
This is it, scaping area then. So yeah, and they do really well in here. Like they just grow up so quickly in here.
The Kessel, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just so bright and
It's a
so
really
good.
nice natural colour as well. 6500.
Something like that, yeah.
So we're over in the nano section. My favourite, one of my favourite sections.
One of your favourite sections.
Also, this is my favourite section.
Well, yeah, of course. Like, can't go wrong with wood and rocks, can you?
So what are you thinking here?
Well,
are we thinking
Yeah, we have got rice fish. They're a little bit more sort of yellowy gold, but I think they'd still pop
that would
in that
work?
white
That would
sort
work
of
very
coloration
well. Yeah.
still.
Against the red, actually, gold is a good shout.
Yeah, that's it. I think they would be, yeah, it's still going to follow that narrative of like lighter coloured fish. But
Yeah.
you'll have the albinos that have got a little bit of a different colour. If you want the neons, you've got that little bit of blue in them. So I think it would all still match.
These guys have got the blue eyes as well, haven't
Yeah.
they? Which I really like.
Really pretty little fish.
Right, Matt's had a plan, haven't you? Can
had
you
a
explain? Yeah, explain what. So we're going to go with the Tetras.
Yep, the neons. So
The
you've
neon
got
Tetras.
that white, red and blue, or that faint blue and red, haven't you, in their bodies?
Plus, I've never had them, so it's,
Yeah,
it's
they're-
always good to get newer fish that you've never had before.
Absolutely, the neons are really cool, and especially the golden ones. They're just a little bit different, aren't
Yeah.
they? But we've got some really stunning female fighters. So like this one down here is white, red and blue.
And I haven't got any.
You haven't got any female fighters, but I think that she could just create a really nice
Yeah, I know
focal
what you mean.
point
Yeah, exactly.
with that white, red and blue
Yeah.
that would work really, really well with what you've got in there.
I think so too. Actually, I think it's a good shout. Like,
Yeah.
One feature fish.
I think
You
it
know,
should be nice.
Should be nice. We've got the albino Corys. Oh, I'm going to be doing certain black mollies at some point as well. The numbers are going down, Matt. People are buying these. You had so many.
Yeah, they do. They are very popular, to be fair. It's a strange one, you know, when you get solid blocks of colour on a fish like that, they do end up being really popular.
Colour.
Well, yeah, a shade, sorry. But yeah, it's
Do you
a
think
funny
it's
one.
because people look up algae eaters and they see molly, black molly?
Maybe. I think it's just, in all honesty, I think it's just because of the solid colour on them.
Yeah.
Because people, you don't see it very often in other fish. You know, you get
There's always some-
mottled
yeah.
colours or you get mixed colours, but whereas the black is so stand out,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't really get that in another fish.
Right, we'll go with that. I like the idea of that. I know I've already got female bettas, but like this one's different
Yeah.
to every single other one I've got, and variety is
Yeah, we're just having a focal point.
something.
Yeah, focal point fish, and I think it'll be nice. She'll do really well in there.
sweet. Well, you know what to do. Bag them up. So some people are going to say females should always be kept in groups. Obviously, we've now put a lot in groups.
Yep.
Is it okay to have this one on its own?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they're just as aggressive as males, to be honest. So it's a better thing sometimes. Better.
Yeah. Oh.
But it's better to keep them on their own most of the time. When you look at breeding setups, a lot of them will be kept singularly until they breed,
Yeah.
and then they put them together to breed.
So it's either 60 or 1.
yeah, exactly. That's the only way you can do it.
The 60 is working so well.
Yeah.
Everyone's so good. So
Every time I've come and seen them, they've been like just so lovely and so great, and the interactions you get are brilliant.
And this one's so stunning that maybe I might try a little bit of breeding with maybe my full white Dumbo or something like that.
Nice.
Imagine a full white Dumbo with a little bit of like details like that on it, male.
You always hope for that though. You always pick the best bits out of the both fish, and then you can guarantee it'll be the worst bits out of both fish come out in the babies.
Yeah, exactly. It won't be white.
No.
It'll be black.
Yeah, that's it. It'll be brown, it'll be wild colour essentially.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we're now back at the studio. All of the fish you can see up there, temperature acclimating. We'll give them 20 minutes or so, lights off obviously so they don't freak out. But yeah, give them 20 minutes, they should be absolutely fine to go in. Right, firstly, in comes the cleanup crew. What we've got there is 5 Amanos and 6 Otto Sinkless. And also to keep that substrate clean, we've got 6 albino Corys. They're gonna sift the sand up and lift the crud into the water column. And then up next, we've got 12 of the gold neon Tetras. Oh, look at that. That looks so good. I was expecting it to look good, but not that good. And finally, our showpiece fish, the white, blue, reddy, pinky Betta, female Betta, looking good. She's right in the flow there, come down. There you go, all good. So yeah, Betta fish, they really, really don't like high flow, and in a small tank, you'd have to put something over it or lower the actual speed. But in a big enough tank like this, look, she can go wherever she wants, and sometimes she'll choose to go in the flow, but she can go in and amongst all of this stuff where there's basically nothing, because you can see the plants, they're barely moving, so that's not something to worry about. They'll choose where they want to go, because obviously in a river environment or a stream or something, there are areas that are more flow than others, so it's more realistic I suppose for them, but loads of places for her to go. She's currently fighting herself. Right, so this is obviously a brand new setup. The filter is actually, it's not brand new, but it's not been used for a long time. So there's currently no beneficial bacteria in a tank, so we need to add that in now. That gets the whole cycle going. Now we've also got a load of floating plants, we've also got a load of actual plants. I'll be checking the water every day to make sure that we're not getting any spikes in nitrite or ammonia. We should be absolutely fine. There's not a big bioload in this tank, but anyway, beneficial bacteria now. So yeah, not a sponsored video or anything, but I use Quick Start from API. On the back it says we need, if I can get this lid off, fresh bottle, nice. Yeah, on the back it says we need 4 capfuls. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little bit for luck. So yeah, that's all sweet. And also remember, we've got plants into new substrate. Yes, there's soil at the bottom, but the roots aren't established yet. So we're gonna make sure that we dose the water column. I'm gonna use some leaf zone, and it's just everything it needs really. Yeah, nice big shot of leaf zone. I need 2 capfuls. Brilliant. Oh, look at that lot in there. It won't stay like that, it'll just merge all in, go through the filter, all good. So it is now a new day, and as you can see, everything is looking pretty much perfect, I would say. The fish themselves have settled right in, like the gold neons, they're going everywhere now. They're not afraid of anything and just completely chilled, which is awesome. The Corys are still a little bit shy, and they're hiding back here. There's 3 of them, you could just about make them out. And if I step back here, look, you can see from the side, they are just down there. The female Betta has made her own little home in this middle section. I do keep seeing her pop out of here, which is really cool. She's completely settled and seems perfect. Now the tank itself, look, you can see really, really clear now. All the plants are standing like straight and reaching for that light, and I just think it's such a good look. At the moment, the floating plants are all gathering over in this section, but as time goes by and the plants grow to the surface, they'll actually get locked out all the way across the aquascape. And obviously this tank is completely different to what I usually do. It's actually really different from the previous red forest as well. But I do think when you stand back and look at the studio as a whole, it stands out so well, and it's going to continue to do so as well with what we've got planned for those middle 2 tanks.